I'm a bit late on this because I didn't think this was a big deal, but Swen Vincke, the CEO of Larian Studios, the studio behind Baldur's Gate 3, pretty much said in an interview that they used generative AI in the production of Baldur's Gate 3, and when I saw it, it was under the context of generative AI being used as like a placeholder as they wait for like final art or concept artists or whatever to finalize something along those lines, and that any generative AI assets were not present in the final version of the game. And I thought that was pretty normal and ethical, and I went back to bed. I woke up and all of Twitter is angry. So much that Sven had to tweet about basically that they used generative AI very early in the development process of the game, and that all final art assets are all original with the artists they have in the studio. And this tweet has 12 million views, at least when this video is released. So yeah, let's go over all of this pretty quickly. And so to preface, the term generative AI is a trigger word for many people. It's like me, a hermit gamer, walking outside and going, the sun. But for Twitter users, when they see anything regarding to like AI, or even rage bait speculation of AI, it's AI slop. And so I'd assume that this is pretty much what set things off. And with the Game Awards just happening, I think it was like last week or two, and a lot of people on the hate train of Expedition 33 and the hype for Baldur's Gate 4, Divinity 3, whatever you want to call it, got a lot of eyeballs into these studios. And I watched a bit of the video that Swen Vincke linked in his tweet, and the video was released about 8 months ago. And essentially they used machine learning, kind of similar to generative AI, to help cut down on the redundant tasks such as animations. And he even admits that this type of use may raise alarms because of, I'd assume, potential AI taking over jobs. And he says that in fact they are hiring even more people in these creative roles, and he reiterates this even on his tweet. I'll paraphrase his tweet real quick. Holy fuck guys, you guys are dumb. We have a team of 72 artists with 23 of them being concept artists, and we are still hiring more. We use AI tools to reference things just like how an average person uses Google. We use AI tools very early in the development process, which I would assume before concept art, as a rough outline. And in my opinion, I think that's an ethical use of generative AI. None of the generative AI assets or whatever made it into the final product, and I think if there was, we would have noticed it in the game like really early. Baldur's Gate 3 came out like what, 2023 I think? Generative AI is way better than it was 2-3 years ago, and I think it would have been plain obvious if they used it. And they used it very early in development. That is meant to help concept artists, so then they can make a more accurate concept art without having to do a lot of like back and forth, like fixing the hair, the color, the pose, the outfit, all that, because I would assume that's pretty annoying to do. And if you can get these ideas onto concept faster and more efficiently, then it's faster to get the concept to a model, then to animations, and then all that, and that would cut down dev time. I mean, that seems like a good thing to me, and I really can't think of what's wrong with that. I mean, generative AI basically just grabs things off the internet and just pieces them together in a Frankenstein style. That is almost no different to how I do my YouTube thumbnails, and I'd imagine a lot of other people's thumbnails. It's not 100% original artwork, and when you go on to use like Photoshop, you are the generative AI. You are going on Google, you are transforming, resizing stolen images, then depending on what you're doing it for, you're making money off of it, whether it's your job to make thumbnails or monetizing that like YouTube video with that original thumbnail, or maybe it's not a thumbnail, maybe it's like an overlay for like a Twitch streamer or whatever. But what I'm trying to say is that generative AI, in the sense of borrowing, stealing, or using other properties, is not something entirely new. It's now just being done in a very fast way. It's not perfect, in fact it's terrible and noticeable most of the time, but it's essentially doing the same thing that we've been doing for the past decade. And I think it is fair to call out companies that are misusing generative AI, because at the end of the day, generative AI is a tool, and in the wrong hands, it'll be very abusable, like what Call of Duty did with their like banner artwork. And companies don't want to talk about generative AI because, again, it's a trigger word, and it immediately spawns in the goblins at the side of the word and be like, AI slop, just like how I see the sun when I decide to go touch grass once in a blue moon. And like I said before in a different video, I think we should be praising companies and studios that do use generative AI correctly, just like Larian Studios. I think in many issues and topics, you should always look at the intent of why someone is using something. But I guess Twitter doesn't understand that. I mean, I scroll down through the retweets and this is what I see. He says, AI is the same as using Google or books, then why not just use that? Wow, you just gotta use just a few more brain cells to answer that question. It's more efficient and it saves dev time. Sucks as a concept artist to get an AI mood board before you even started. It just comes across like the leads have no inspiration. Guess where people get images for the mood boards? Google. Just like AI, it's just performing the task, but more efficiently. Here's a long one. If you go out and buy a bunch of art books, then you're paying the ones that made that art. Generative AI like Google, OpenAI, Midjourney, etc. Then you're paying those companies and not the original artist. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I try to avoid paying money for textbooks whenever I can. I just Google the pages up or just type free ebook at the end of the search result. Or even better, you're not allowed to be inspired from artwork unless you pay access to see that artwork. It's a different problem, I think, where generative AI is not the source cause of the problem. But anyways, I'm going back to bed, and surely no one will get angry at the next studio that uses generative AI in a good, ethical way, especially when there are no, real rules or restrictions for it. For me personally, as long as there's an attempt to use it ethically, and I think that's good enough for me. Sure, you could say they could be doing more by buying more source materials, or you could say that they're doing too much and they need to fire the concept artists because AI is taking over everything, or whatever. But I think it's nice to see that there are some good people like Sven that have all the money, the market stake, the accolades, and all that to come out and really be transparent in how they're using generative AI in the process of making a video game, and have the final project of the game be original as possible. And I hope that other companies have the same mindset, because I can definitely think of a few studios that would absolutely abuse it. So, as much as it is to call out people in studios for the misuse of generative AI, I think it's also important to praise the ones that are doing it ethically. That's it for me for today. Make sure to like and subscribe, as I will try to stay up to date with any gaming news so don't miss out, and I appreciate you guys for watching.